Learner's Permit, Thursdays on my YouTube. Subscribe today. La Jolla, thank you so much. We sold out some more shows down there, man. We've hit them now in Indy, Baltimore. We've hit them in Cleveland, in La Jolla. Thank you so much for your support. Austin, unfortunately, has to be rescheduled. The club is not going to be open in time. And Kansas City, I can't wait to get to your wonderful town. I'll be there January 20th through the 22nd. Get your tickets for those dates and all dates at ryansickler.com.
The HoneyDew with Ryan Sickler.
Welcome back to the HoneyDew, y'all. We're over here doing it in the Night Pants Studios. I'm Ryan Sickler, ryansickler.com, and Ryan Sickler on all your social media. Dates, the Night Pants Nation tour is going fucking great. I can't thank you enough for your support. Coming up next is La Jolla. What's that? December 15th through the 17th. And Austin, January 6th through the 8th. Tickets available at ryansickler.com. YouTube, listen, this channel continues to grow and grow and grow. And I can't thank you enough for that either. So I know you're watching. Please subscribe. And the Patreon is just, it's like, I don't know. It's like, how do you pick your favorite kid? That damn show has the wildest stories. And it's $5 a month. And yeah, I do know that's a lot of money for some people. Absolutely. I know that's a utility bill. I know it's a cell bill. I know that. $60 a year. But if you sign up for a year, you'll save a little bit of money. You'll get over a month free. All right. I'm doing everything I can to keep costs low and keep bringing you good shit because y'all have not let me down. If y'all know someone or you have that story that has to be heard, please submit it to honeydewpodcast@gmail.com. Hopefully we'll get to do an episode together. All right. The website here, the HoneyDew Podcast. Oh, sorry. honeydewpodcast.com. And merch is still all stocked up. Holidays are here, man. Get your HoneyDew merch for the holidays. Makes a great gift, okay? Now, you know what we do here. We highlight the lowlights. These are the stories behind the storytellers. I'm very excited to have this guest back on the Dew. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back Lana Negrete. Welcome back to the HoneyDew, Lana. Yeah, you got it. Fuck yeah, clap yourself in. Not enough people do. All right, first of all, thank you for coming back.
Thanks for
having me. You look
me.
fantastic as always. People don't see your cowboy boots, but maybe we can get them in the picture.
I mean, I could put them in
up,
the frame.
girl.
Can I see them?
Mm-hmm.
That's Nashville.
That's Nashville. Please, before we get into everything we're going to talk about today, plug, promote everything you would like.
First and foremost, outreach through the arts. The nonprofit Ryan works on with me as well. We've had a rough year, but we've built some amazing programs that are coming out. So I definitely want to plug OTTA. OTTarts.org is where you can go to find out more about all the programs we're doing and the kids we're serving and how you can help contribute with time or money. And then, of course, you know, Santa Monica Music Center, Culver City Music Center. Those are the two spots that I own. My family business for music lessons, instrument needs. We've got you covered. Podcast studios now.
That's right. We'll talk about that.
And we're about to open up our live recording studio as well. So whether you want to learn because you're a novice or you're a professional and you need a space, that's where you can go. SantaMonicaMusicCenter.com. You can look at both locations from that website. And then lastly, by the time this comes out, I'll be gearing up to campaign for City Council, Santa Monica
City Council.
So I'm on there now. I was appointed, but I'll be running my campaign for election next November. So if you're in Santa Monica and you can vote, please vote for me. If you're not, please move and register to vote.
Give me a tally, please.
Let me just get some votes.
Fuck yeah. All right. So we have a little bit to talk about here. First of all, this blew me away. The small world story that happened after your first. So I want to say this. Also, there's links on the HoneyDew Podcast website as well. You can go there to get anything to reach out to Santa Monica Music Center. So we did the first episode, which if you don't know who Lana is, you want to know, go listen to that first episode. It actually is a really great episode. And after that, some things start popping off and in the community and people are hearing this and that. And an article gets written. And,
I mean, is that what you call that?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it. It gets, whatever. Some trash gets thrown out, blows across the street. And our neighbor, this man comes up and approaches you, correct?
Yep.
And how long would you say after that episode?
Probably it had to have been, when did we do that one?
God.
It's like a year after, because I was already on city council, which is kind of how it came about. But I don't know if he listens to your podcast or if it's because one of the council members, article, whatever.
So what you referenced specifically in that podcast that we're talking about is that what happened to you?
So 7th grade, I was 12.
Dosed, right?
Yeah, he put acid in my drink. I don't know that I named him, but maybe I did. Anyways, it's my experience. It's my information. But
it led to a bunch of shit.
Oh, yeah, it led to a bunch of shit. For me, in my childhood, it was a pivotal moment for me, for sure. It was trauma, if you will. But I guess it also was for him. So when that happened, he never apologized or never reached out to me. As a matter of fact, I felt the opposite in the encounters that I had with him after that maybe he felt the victim somehow. I don't really know. But post that, he's standing there and I'm looking at this person look at me and I'm like rushing right outside in the garage. And he's using the space that the landlord, who we love so dearly.
Oh, what a gem.
Rents out over there. And he's like, Lana, I think he said Lana Fernandez, which when anyone uses my maiden name, I'm like, oh, you know me from high school or before. And then as I'm looking at him, I realize who it is. And he's like, it's me. So he wanted to schedule some time.
It was him.
It was him.
It was the guy.
And I haven't seen or talked to him.
Who rents next door to your family fucking business.
I mean, he works like he's an independent writer, I think. So he uses that space. So I could see in his eyes, he looked like genuine, like, oh my gosh, I want to have this connection. Do you have time to sit down?
He said that?
Yes, if we can make time for each other. And we still have to.
Has he ever said the word? Has he still said the words, I'm sorry?
No, I don't think he's had that opportunity. Maybe that's what he wants to say.
Well, he had the opportunity right out front on the sidewalk.
I think it was so
whatever.
You know?
Listen, man.
Well, again, I don't know. Maybe his purpose is to say what he experienced from it, which we'll find out. But yeah. So, and then afterwards.
Fucking crazy.
It's so crazy.
It's crazy you tell that story and then you come to work one day and this dude's like,
a year later.
Man, I'm part of Night Pants Nation. I gotta tell you.
And I'm assuming it's either that or one of the council members that knows him.
Yeah.
And they ran into each other and he was trying to get a hold of me. Maybe he heard it, whatever. I don't know. Maybe someone heard it. But anyways, yeah. So that spawned this, which would be
take Lana to lunch, motherfucker, and say you're sorry.
And I'm not bringing my own drink.
I said it. Yeah. And bring your own goddamn drink. The whole time. So what we talk about? What you gotta tell me, motherfucker?
I just hope he has a good sense of humor because I do.
If he doesn't, that's his fucking problem. Yeah, you're the one that got dosed. That's the know. What
and the crazy thing was
it's
like,
not like I got you. You know, no.
Was other people were involved in like, oh, that was traumatic. I guess he had his whatever happened to him afterwards. There might have been some trauma for him around it, which I respect and can acknowledge. But
that's a crazy story.
It's a crazy story, and I hope it ends in some new relationship. I think we all grow up and become parents. And
30 years ago, like I hope you get full closure finally.
Yeah.
All right, here's what I also do want to. We're not going to talk about because I'm sure people are like,
I was loaded.
Yeah, we're not talking about politics here. We're not talking about the looting or whatever happened to us. We're not sitting here. And the reason I don't want to, first of all, I don't give a fuck what other people think about what happened to us.
Yeah.
I don't give one shit what anyone else thinks about what happened to us.
Yeah.
Period. Okay, because I am proud of you. I sat down there and cleaned up glass and all that with you. And both of us, instead of whining and boo-hooing, we lost just like everybody, maybe more than others. And we just fucking got up and started marching forward. And not only that, growing and succeeding. So I want to commend you because I'm telling you, you got big dick energy. You do. If you were a dude,
big labia.
If you were a dude, your dick be bigger. I mean... And look, you know what my daughter's mom told you, so we're sitting here, both of us sitting here with big dick energy, girl. Anyway, I'm proud of you. And let's talk about what you did because literally picked ourselves up and let's talk about Otta first and what you did with that whole program.
I mean, almost like immediately after because there was all the stuff happening with all the racial tension and the police, nationally. So here we are trying to literally pick up pieces and build. And I thought, oh my gosh, what a great opportunity to create another class or course or way for these kids that are in the diversion program, which is now called LEAD, with the Santa Monica Police Department, because I had a connection to Santa Monica Police. I knew people that ran that program, so I knew I could get access to these kids in the neighborhood. And I thought, there's no trade schools. People, this industry, whether it be music, entertainment, including podcasting, all of it is so mystified for kids. And they don't even know, like, how do you get to where you are now? Like, what were the steps taken? So it was a great way to teach kids how to run pre-production, post-production, teaching them the 4-camera live switch, teaching them skills that they could literally take and put on a resume and go get a paying job for. But more importantly, I thought the dialogue that they could have would really be meaningful for the community, for themselves.
So you created a course, a class.
With you.
Well, it's your stuff, but I created a curriculum. You created a class.
Yeah.
And the opportunity for these people and myself, because I've come to you and said, I thank you for including me in it, because I really love it. I've enjoyed it. And you're right. Because I, as a parent, especially now, and watching and knowing what I paid for college and watching these people get just into an almost 6-figure hole that they're never going to pay off coming out. So I question, wow, is college really the right move? I know I am the generation of parents who they got their high school diploma and went right into the workforce, maybe touched on college a little bit, but it was boom. We were the generation that was supposed to go to college to further ourselves. I think this generation, I agree, like, again, there's nothing wrong working at Starbucks, Little Caesars, whatever, nothing at all. I think that's great for you too. But if you can get an early jump on something that you have a passion for, and like you said, whether it's production, because we've taught the kids in here the cameras, we've taught them audio, we've taught them live switching, we've taught them editing, basic
production
editing,
for the
music, how to pick your titles, graphics. We've taught them everything. And we've done 2 courses now.
And how to be a host, how to speak,
and how to be
interview.
a host and be a guest also, So, and to get out of your comfort zone, because these kids are interviewing the fucking police.
Yeah.
Fresh off of, like, we still sweeping up glass out there. I'm still wondering where the fuck they were. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, where all, like, y'all come here for the class, huh? No problem getting you here for the class. Anyway, I joke, kind of. But you're right. If someone just learns how to do cameras or editing or whatever, they can walk forward with a real skill that they can take out into the world and start making good money early on and connections that could help further them down the line. Because this shit's not going anywhere.
No.
The YouTubes and not only podcasting, but all this content creation's not going anywhere. It's only getting bigger and better.
Real tangible skills, which is what I think we're missing. Like those, when I was in high school, you learned how to change your oil. And we had ROP programs where you left early to work in a certain field or whatever. So like literally repairing wires, setting up mics, doing post-production, that's a job that is not just the creative side of it. It's like, that's a thing that you can learn and do. Like we can teach anybody that, and you can do that job and make a living. And then maybe from there, as you're in that world surrounded by those people, you find your creative outlet. But for some people, that is the creative piece of it. So I think what's hard is when, we can't just look at these kids doing all this TikTok and creative content, blogging stuff. I just hung out last night with a couple that was like, how long have you and your husband been together? I'm like, oh, we met in 2000. He's like, I was born in 2000. And they're making more than us, creating content on TikTok and blogging. And instead of, poo-pooing it or laughing at it, it's like, that's great. But do you actually know, I think what's even more valuable is if you know how to set up your own stuff. Like if you could set it up and produce it, then you're more valuable. Because if your content is gone and no one likes it in a couple months and it's just like a one-hit wonder, you can still go get a pretty well-paid job with insurance doing the other stuff. So these kids, having a foot in the door in this industry is a big deal. It is so saturated, so it almost makes it more competitive in a way. You got to be like extra special to stand out.
Well, what I really loved, it was a moment where I just was like, there it is. Because at first you were like, this person podcast. I go, Lana, everybody's got a fucking podcast. And then there was like, after like 2 months, somebody came up in front of us. You're like, she goes, I want to do a podcast. She's like, everybody's got a fucking podcast. I was like, there it is.
Because I didn't even listen to podcasts before. And then I realized like everybody has a podcast, so
everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got something to say.
And everyone has a crowd to listen to them. And I respect that. But these kids, I wanted them to learn skills so that whatever they walked away with they learned something at the end of the day.
That's
and
right.
we were also providing a platform for the police to expose who they are as human beings, because here are kids who have had negative interactions and positive interactions with police. And I think in this program, the positive has outweighed the negative in our community. So I wanted to send a positive message because the negative narrative was already out there. And we had kind of cast this national opinion on all police officers that they're all bad. And I was friends with a lot of these guys who grew up not wanting to be police because of what they endured in their communities, and then deciding, no, that's actually why I want to be a police officer. And then you remember it started turning into these cops were moving their shifts so that they could come and be on here.
Yeah, they were all coming in. And also we interviewed the chief of police who, what I was told, this woman made history. So she was the first, I believe, Black female officer. And then went all the way to the ranks and was the first every level all the way up to chief of police. And was so good that the current chief of police during the bullshit was out and she came back in to help out. I mean, and these kids got to sit down and talk to that woman about, her life. I wanted to come on here just because I have so many questions about, the racism and sexism. Because she told a story about how, or they had said, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but
the domestic violence call she went on.
Yeah, she went on a domestic violence call with a female partner, I believe. And then her backup showed up and the two guys waited outside because they figured she would get roughed up and fucked up in there, and they'd come in and Captain Save-A-Ho and make them look good and like, see, y'all can't really do the job. And apparently she drugged that motherfucker down the steps, and then they said, you want us to call it in? She's like, we got it. Yeah.
No, she's a badass. And my dad's a fan, as you know. Because
he is a fan.
He watched her take somebody down in a... that was the whole point. Like let's look at people as people and find out who they are. And these kids got to give their perspective, because for the longest we were hearing a community that has a 30,000-foot view, which I like to say it's like this luxury of having this 30,000-foot view. The luxury to have space and time to really think about a problem and come up with a solution is a true luxury. But when you're in it, in the shit, there's a lot of value in that, because you have real life experience to be applied to the situation. And that's how I see these kids. Like, they're living it and they're the next generation. Let's let them lead the conversation, because I think they have something to say, which, as we found out, was quite different from what some people were saying. They were I don't want to defund the police. I'm in this amazing, I wouldn't be here today learning how to podcast if it wasn't for our local police, the Santa Monica PD, and this amazing lead program. I wouldn't be learning all these great things, Officer so-and-so gave me my first pair of Jordans, and I got Thanksgiving, dinner delivered to me by this officer. So we were just going through such a negative time, and everything was so negative. I just wanted an opportunity to say there's good people out there in all fields. And if there's a way to shed some light on that and teach some kids a trade that they can actually go get a job with, well, then I feel like that's a good program.
And the kids were great. Some of them really impressed me, like took right to it.
Some of them were like, I'm never going to be in front of the camera. Cut to, they were like the best in front of the camera.
I can't remember the one young girl's name, but she loved Rogan. And I was like, you listen to Joe Rogan? She's like, yeah. Remember, she was ballsy, and she wanted that one cop to come in, and she's like, I want to ask him why he never says hello to me. And I go, are you serious? She's like, yup. And she put him in there, and she goes, how come you never say hi to me? And he was like, well, I say hi to you. And I was like, look at her in there.
It was awesome. And then, because of Mark Wahlberg had stepped in and created a bunch of connections. Dwayne, who started here, and then that connection between Mark, who introduced me to Talitha, which connected me to William Morris Entertainment. He got to be able to have a dialogue and a possible mentorship with Kevin Shivers. So, none of that would have happened had all those negative things not happened. So it's just, Well,
then we also... you also, I keep saying we because I feel so like I'm excited to be a part of it. So I apologize. I don't want to take any credit from you, but you created also, now that was for at-risk youth in Santa Monica with the police department. You also have a program through ADA as well for the Culver City high school kids. And I got to teach the curriculum to the Culver City high school kids, and they were great too. Yeah,
different group of kids. They were already taking some classes in like media and entertainment, so that was just, it was wonderful to have them in the room. And now they want to make it a full-on extension part of their school. I think most schools are leaning towards project-based, trade-based, like putting kids in front of the action and actually having them do it. So.
Yeah. I mean, look, I think it should be a class in high school now.
Yeah.
Everyone's doing it at that age already. You're starting. The quicker you can learn this stuff. And why wouldn't you're teaching all the other shit? Those AV kids would be all over this shit. Remember that kid, the dork that wheeled the cart to class? Well, I'm older than you. That kid would be like, I got your fucking cameras and shit. Don't worry about it.
No,
Like,
exactly.
hell
I mean,
yeah, that's the kids you should hang out with. That's where I fucked up. Hung out with all the jocks instead of the nerds.
I know. I think about that
These
now. I
people
look
are
back.
coding and everything else.
I
I'm like,
know.
huh? You're what?
Well, and
Five houses? You got 5, huh? Yeah. Dungeons and Dragons, huh? God damn.
Who's a loser now?
I had to be all JUCO. That don't
I
pay
know.
shit.
I think about that all the time. And that's what I want to share with kids is experience, And no matter what we share, there's always going to be, they have to figure it out themselves. But I mean, even during this process, once becoming on city council, I realized we have a whole studio a block away from here, a TV studio.
That's what I'm saying. Why can't that be added to VOTech? That's what we called it back in the day, where
Well,
you go
it is,
work
yeah.
on a car, home ec
Yeah.
sort of classes, chef, cooking, all this. Like
They did a small program, but this is
For
going to be different.
podcasting?
No, for the actual studio where we had city TV
Yeah.
when they used to have aerobics classes, a cooking class. I mean, the city had put tons of money and it's just sitting there because of COVID. So the idea is to have the kids in this program be able to learn how to work the big camera rigs and everything that goes into putting a show together, and hopefully having them take over the communications for the city. Because how cool would it be if the next generation is out there interviewing citizens, talking to policymakers, creating content about our city from the next generation who literally in a few years could be up on the dais, So I want to make it, I want to unmystify the industry and opportunities for kids to stand up and be leaders. Like, listen, I mean, I wasn't that kid that was pushing the cart. I definitely wasn't. I was definitely going, getting off campus whenever I could or whatever. But that doesn't mean that you can't be afforded opportunities. Like, we got to look at the glass half full and who people are and not what they aren't.
The holidays are right around the corner. If you want help prepping for your parties and family get-togethers, all while supporting a more sustainable local food system, check out Imperfect Foods. Imperfect Foods is a grocery delivery service offering an entire line of sustainable groceries that taste delicious and reduce waste. Plus, your order will arrive on the same day each week. On average, Imperfect Foods customers save 6 to 8 pounds of food from lesser outcomes with every order. And unlike these other on-demand delivery companies, Imperfect delivers weekly by neighborhood. It's a unique model that produces 25 to 75% fewer emissions than individual trips to the grocery store. Plus, say goodbye to packaging guilt. Imperfect Foods is the only national grocery delivery company that makes it easy to return your packaging after every order. They sent me some food I made. I can tell you how many meals. I had stuffed peppers. Okay, I had scrambled eggs. It came with bacon. It's delicious. I'm telling you, you guys have already hit me up telling me how you used it before and used it when you were in college. I think it's a great idea. Right now, Imperfect Foods is offering my listeners 20% off your first 4 orders when you go to imperfectfoods.com and use the promo code HoneyDew. Again, 20% off your first 4 orders. That's up to an $80 value at imperfectfoods.com when you use the promo code HoneyDew. Imperfectfoods.com and use code HoneyDew. Athletic Greens is a product I love. I take it every day, and honestly, I don't eat well. I don't eat well all the time. I say I don't have time for it. I'm running whatever, and Athletic Greens takes care of me. So what is this stuff, right? With one delicious scoop of Athletic Greens, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, recovery, focus, and aging. All the things contains less than 1 gram of sugar. There's no GMOs, no nasty chemicals, or artificial anything while still tasting good. It costs you less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit, all right? Right now, it's time to reclaim your health and arm your immune system with convenient daily nutrition, especially heading into the flu and cold season. It's just 1 scoop in a cup of water every day. That's it. It's easy. No need for a million different pills and supplements to look out for your health. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/honeydew. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/honeydew to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. The holidays and New Year are right around the corner. Help your loved ones get closer to achieving their health and wellness goals with an Everlywell at-home lab test. Everlywell offers affordable at-home lab tests that give you trusted physician-reviewed results. Choose from tests including food sensitivity, metabolism, sleep and stress, thyroid, and so much more. Here's how it works. Everlywell ships your test straight to your door with everything needed for a sample collection. You return the test to a CLIA-certified lab with a prepaid shipping label. Then your physician-reviewed results and insights are sent to your device in just days. Over 1 million people have trusted Everlywell with their at-home lab testing. Your boy, too, right here has. They sent me one. I tested for food sensitivity. You just little finger prick, boom, boom, drop it on the paper. Off it goes, and like they said, right to your phone in days. It was pretty awesome. I found out that I'm sensitive to ginger. How about that? Who knew? This holiday, give more of what matters with an Everlywell at-home lab test. For our listeners, Everlywell is offering a special discount of 20% off an at-home lab test at everlywell.com/honeydew. That's everlywell.com/honeydew for 20% off your at-home lab test. everlywell.com/honeydew. Now, let's get back to the do.
It's so funny, like during this whole process, after I was on the show, this guy, because now I get appointed to city council.
Yeah,
so now you Google me, that's the only thing.
Literally nothing, wrecked on the fucking sidewalk,
right,
to city councilwoman.
To having to have people deliver
food. And to create
food.
Outreach to the arts for
this
a
new
nonprofit
program.
for the 2 new programs, and then become an Santa Monica city council.
Yeah, not LA.
I know. LA.
And which was crazy because people used to joke around all the time, like, oh, you're mini mayor of Santa Monica, because I knew everybody. And they'd call me if they needed to know something or how to do something in Santa Monica. And then it was like, you should be on city council. And I was like, I don't have time. It's not the right time. And I was literally riding my exercise bike. I'll put a plug in for Peloton in case they want to send me anything. My Peloton, or as Louis likes to say, my Peloton. And I have all these Mel Robbins like inspirational quotes, and one of my favorites is "Start before you're ready, because nothing beats experience." And I thought, you know what? I'm never going to be ready. I mean, I thought I was ready to have kids at a certain age, and their therapy bills will prove that I wasn't. Mm. But no, I mean, so I just said, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And then immediately, like when it was all happening, because it was an appointment process, so I was up against like 33 other people or something, but it's a little different, not a full-on election, but there's still like some campaigning going on. And then the minute it actually happened, it was so great. And then I got up there and I had to make a vote right away. But that night when I went to bed, I had a full-on panic attack because I realized my friends were texting me, like people were taking to social media that never met me before saying mean things. And I was like, oh, I told you, I was like, I don't know if I can do this. Like people are.
Go read the comments about my laugh, Lana. You'll feel better about yourself.
People are just so, it's so crazy to me that like the minute somebody's up on and I'm not even like, it's not like I'm making money or anything. Like we get paid $15,000 a year.
I can't get over that.
And we get a parking pass though. That's the key to the city.
$15,000 and it's a full-time job and a parking pass.
That parking pass is, my husband's always like, show them how we do it, baby, in the mall. Oh, it didn't work. It's only on weekends.
It's Sunday from 12 to 3, but you can park wherever the fuck you want.
No, but I mean, that whole like experience of seeing how people who maybe even met you and worked with you in some like PTA group, and then they take to some.
It takes to the who's this bitch thinks she is.
Yes, I'm like,
I know.
But I'm like, if you know so much, and these are the people that diligently read all the. I haven't seen you at a meeting. I've been to 875 meetings. And are you on a board or a commission? Have you done anything, or do you just sit there behind your computer and write things on social media?
Keyboard cowboys.
Oh, and they know everything and how it should be done, and everybody on there is doing the wrong thing, and you don't know how to do it. I'm like, well, then get up here and do it. But I mean, for them to wait for the perfect opportunity.
I don't want to do it. I just want to tell you how to do it.
And how you're doing it wrong.
And how you're doing it wrong and fucking it up. But I don't want to do it. But I do know how to. Okay, asshole.
I had some lady come up to me where I got the great opportunity to announce Santa Claus and do the tree lighting, which for me was a little bit like, I don't think the mayor realized when she let me do it how much it meant, because growing up as a kid, my dad used to play on the stages there. And we would see Santa and we'd have to wait in line. And it's funny because my dad was a musician. It wasn't like we got to go first. It was like, yeah, we'll let everybody else go first. And sometimes I'd miss the opportunity. I'd like have all this anxiety, like, God damn it, there's 60 kids in line. I might not meet Santa. And they would do the annual tree lighting. And I got to go on stage and read the last line that introduced Santa who lights the tree. But right when I get down, this woman who I've known, whose kids have taken lessons and gotten scholarships from me, is like, you know, you got to do this and nobody knows what you're doing because you're not saying it. And you should do this and you should do that. And if you don't do this way, that way. And I can't help myself, but I was like, why don't you do it? I don't have to do shit, lady. Like, don't talk to me like that and come up to me and just start telling me how I should. And hi, how are you? Nice to meet you. Nice to see you. It's just crazy how people feel like it's an open invitation.
To shit on you.
Yeah. And like, what does that do? All the people that complain about our city and are so angry and they're so certain that there's this conspiracy theory going around that the entire staff and everybody's all working together to like diabolically take the city down, I guess. I don't know. I'm like, why do you live here then? Like, if it sucks that much, like, I don't get it. Or why aren't you a part of the solution? Like, it's so easy to point out the problem and maybe say what the solution could be, but to actually come up with the solution and then do the work towards making it right and figuring out along the way, that wasn't the solution, but maybe this is, and if we tweak it that way. But
there's certain people break you down and other people break you down and then help build you up. And that's what, hey, look, I see a better way to do this. Great. Would you like to help? Yes, I would.
Yeah, I love those people. Welcome them all day long. But it's the people who don't. And then you realize there's people who have ulterior motives and you start getting into all that stuff. And we want to get into
politics.
I realize I'm not a politician. And so that might be the demise of my campaign next year. Because people are like, well, you got to do this because if you don't, then this person's going to get, and then that's going to mess up. I'm like, but it's not right to do that. And they're like, but if you don't do it, then this person, I'm like, well, but it's not right. I got to be able to go to sleep at night. So I don't want to check off a box of a group of people and say, oh, I voted this way because whatever you guys always say how to vote, I'm always going to vote that way. It's like, well, I don't know. Because I have a different perspective and experience in life. And clearly it was valued enough to get where I'm at now. And if I get elected, then that means that there's enough people that agree with that. And I think everybody has value. The Ivy League lawyers that are up there to the working moms. I mean, I'll just say this, though. I'm the one that still is running payroll and actually owns a small business. So I think my voice has a lot of value. Now, there's times
in the city you are
in the city, yeah. And I was
course.
born and raised here, so I have historical perspective as a working class person living in a rent controlled apartment building.
I mean, you all lived in the Walton house.
Not me. I mean, I've got perspective for sure. So, and I'm raising kids here, and my trajectory is not. My goal is not to be, at the state or whatever level. My goal is just to serve my community. So it's not like I'm doing this to get to the next step. It's truly just to serve the community. And so my kids can get dropped off at the promenade without having to carry a weapon in their pocket now. But no, I mean, that's my goal. And I'm so excited to be able to like help on a bigger scale and bring in the kids that I work with. That's really what I want to do. Like, look, nobody thought I was going to be up here, including myself. And I am. And it reminded me of Michelle Obama when I went and listened to her book reading. I'll never forget when she said, I'm paraphrasing, but she was like, basically her first few weeks being there as first lady, she thought, oh my God, there's all these smart people in the room. Like, I'm not the smartest in the room.
I'm a fraud.
And then cut to like a year later, like, I might be the smartest person in this room.
Right. Soon as you figure it out.
Logic and pragmatic approach, I mean, that's valuable to me. So I just try to bring that approach. I try not to be embarrassed. I raise my hand. I ask. You'll see me on the dais be like, do we always have to speak like we're in a Shakespeare play? If you got to put up a PowerPoint to explain that ordinance, maybe we should be reducing it down to 3 sentences so everybody can understand it. So I hope to bring that part to city council so people see like, oh, like I'm translating it for the people.
This bitch doesn't like my PowerPoint. There's somebody doing that right now. Like, I do PowerPoints, Lana. But that's what I do.
Look, someone's going to hear this, listen to this. Like, what did that guy write? Out of the 2 hours we talked, he's all, this is what we know about Lana.
That's what people do, though.
She was molested, drugged. And her dad played intros to titty bars.
And now I can't do my PowerPoints. This fucking bit.
Everyone picks out the most negative things. And look, I like to laugh and make fun. I mean, Lou and I bag on our kids so hard, we're like not sure if it's even right. But we laugh at each other, we laugh at ourselves, and that's okay. But to just be mean, like just to be mean, is like, really? I don't get it. What do you get out of that? Like the people that take time to comment. I'm not talking about your podcast, but you were saying people say stuff.
Plenty of them.
But why are you going to listen then? And then take the time to go on my account and
That's
then
why when they say, like, your laugh ruins every podcast, I'm like, thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. All of them?
It's on ringtone. You can get it as a ringtone now. You just leave 10 voicemails with your laugh.
So let me ask you this. You go from being business destroyed to not only building yourself back up, but building your community back up, which is unfucking believable.
Yeah.
Becoming a Santa Monica City Councilwoman and, or is it person?
Council member.
Member, okay.
Yeah, I'd say councilwoman.
What are you, I want to highlight lowlights. So right now, what are you most proud of? And I want personal.
Like in my personal
right now, you could look back in a year and a half ago and tell that us down there sweeping that fucking glass up, like, hey, what are you most proud of?
That we're still here. I know that's so basic, but I really thought at that moment.
There's so many businesses that aren't.
Yeah. That was, and then you know what I went through after that with the lease negotiation. So, I mean, he showed up that day and was like, how are you going to pay for my rent? I was like,
okay, so the landlord shows up and tell us about that conversation.
He literally is walking around to see what happens and he says, how are you going to pay my rent now? And I was like, watch out for that glass.
Didn't he call you little girl?
Oh, many times in all the negotiations. Like he would wait for my dad to do meetings, even though.
And he called you little girl.
Oh, yeah, little girl.
My favorite one was when you told him you brought your feelings to a business meeting. Oh, yeah. Tell me.
So I was actually ready to give him a bigger check than he ended up getting. I ended up reducing it because, I just wanted to move on. Everybody was doing the whole like not paying rent. I was never doing that. Mm-hmm. I was giving more than I had to and just no one knew like, am I going to owe all this? Am I not? I mean, people are still sitting in that predicament. So I just kind of wanted to close that chapter, even though people said, well, just wait. I was like, I just want to move on and know a little bit more about the future. And in order to do that, I got to close this. So I had written out the check and he comes in there. First of all, he doesn't want to just talk to me. He wants my dad in there, which is always funny to me because my dad's either falling asleep half the meeting or he'll say
the most inappropriate shit. Yeah.
Go back to your I won't even say what he says because someone will pick that out. But anyways, and my dad's looking at me like, I don't know, ask her. But he had brought his broker, who was great, who all I could see was his eyes during the whole meeting. But at some point, I mean, we were just about to give him the check and he goes, I just want to say something. And he went on to say, you chose to pay your employees before me. You chose to take care of all your employees and probably your vendors, but you paid your employees before me. And that's horrible. You need to respect me. I'm the landlord and you wouldn't be here if it wasn't for me and blah, blah, blah. He went into this whole like diatribe about how horrible of a person I was and ultimately like,
how dare you?
How dare I take care of my employees? And I was like, if I had to do it again, that's exactly how I do it. Didn't pay myself, paid my employees. And they're still here. They didn't have to, struggle to eat or whatever. But he didn't get that concept. But I was like, listen, it's unfortunate. Thank you for sharing that you brought all your feelings about me and how I handled everything to this meeting. So let me just take this check back.
Yeah.
And look at your broker who said that, we could possibly negotiate differently. And then it was like, the broker was like, maybe you should just accept. And I was like, no.
Little boy brought your feelings to a business meeting.
I'm going to get my feelings involved a little bit.
Your feelings, you brought them into business.
I was like, listen, for all the things you've said to me and done to me, I've never once taken that into account because the business transaction is separate. Like, I may not like you as a person or think all these things about you.
Don't.
But this is a business transaction and this is who I'm doing business with right now and that's what it is. So, but unfortunately, he let me know what he felt about me and I was like, good to know. Wasn't the one that signs the check. We just take that back. So, I mean, we're not in the best situation, but we're here. He just rolled through the other day with bankers. I don't know if it's like a thing to make me nervous. He's like, these are my bankers. I'm like, okay. So.
Does he know your city council?
Yeah, he does. So he's probably going to listen to this.
That's fine. Let him listen.
I think, reality.
What scares you the most?
I think what scares me the most is not succeeding at this like dream that I have to create what I've actually been
You're doing
manifesting and doing. So it scares me that I won't keep taking those steps, because as silly as it sounds, because I'll look back and go, oh shit, I did do it. It's like,
and what do I tell you all the time? Just fucking do it.
Just do it. I know.
Don't wait. Just do it.
I know. And that was my biggest thing, because I think I procrastinated a lot. I just was it's a big, what do you call it? Imposter syndrome. I've always had that. Like, I don't deserve to be in this room or around these people, or I want to create this thing, but it'll never really look like that because that's meant for these type of people. And I think that's a product of like growing up with nothing or less, you know what I mean? And so I just constantly told myself that story. And then honestly, I read a couple good books. I love James Clear, Atomic Habits. I read that book for the third time and shared it with the kids during the podcast. And it's just making those small changes to make yourself 1% better every day. And Mel Robbins, all those inspirational books. But they took to me during that time because I thought, okay, what's my choice? It's either do nothing.
Is he like Tim's dad or
Mel Robbins?
Tim's mom?
Tim's aunt? No, it's not. That's funny though. I didn't even think about that. Tony Robbins.
Mel from Melanie.
No, just Mel Robbins.
Mel, okay.
She's like she's a big speaker. And actually she talks about how, she was going bankrupt just a few years ago. And you start to go like, well, damn, if somebody like that could be standing right here, if somebody like that has imposter syndrome. And one of the cheesiest things she has is high five habit challenge that I've been doing. And I want my kids to do it, trying to get them to do it, is high fiving yourself in the mirror. It sounds so stupid and you feel so ridiculous doing it. But it's proven scientifically that like you can't think negative thoughts about yourself when you do it.
I just broke the fucking mirror. 7 motherfucking years.
I fist bumped.
You fucking glad blood all down your hand and broke your fucking mirror. Proud of it. God damn it. Fucking Lana's bullshit.
I got handprints everywhere. No, but I just started to say, you know what, I'm just going to do it. And even if the goal is here and I just start and I get to there, that's the first step. And then that's all it takes. It's like when you say you don't want to exercise and you're like, I'll just go for a 5-minute walk. It turns into a 3-mile jog. I mean, it was just taking the first step and doing it and not judging myself, being kind to myself and being like, you know what? You could have not done anything, but you're doing it. And we work for ourselves. And I forget, people remind me all the time.
This is my family business inside your family business. Yes.
And I mean, to not have to depend on someone else to create the structure and the entity that feeds your kids is a big, scary deal. So I have to remind myself that I've been doing that for a really long time and I've figured it out successfully. And what does success mean? Like, is it the big house or the this or the that? No. It's being able to know that I make my own hours. It doesn't feel like that sometimes. It feels like you're, tied to do certain things, but they're choices. Like I'm not doing anything for someone else. I'm doing them for me. And in terms of being like a city council member, there's times where you feel like, oh my gosh, I got to do this, I got to do that. But it's part of serving the community, which serves my family too. Yeah. So I think my biggest fear would be not to take those steps. And my biggest accomplishment is having trusted in and valuing the baby steps, because the baby steps lead to the big things.
Amen to that. That's the truth.
So,
what's next?
Oh, there's so many things.
Like, here's the thing. You love to take care of so many people. I always worry about you because you don't really
sleep. Oh.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, I don't want to say you don't take care of yourself, because you definitely take care of yourself. You eat well, you exercise, you do all the right things.
Chick-fil-A.
But whatever, everybody's.
Stop making that hot sauce.
I like some Chick-fil-A too. But I get, if it fails, everything goes away for you.
Oh, I think about
the
that
family
all
business
the time.
And helping other people. So you lose all of your passions. So what is next then?
Well, on that note, this is another cheesy cliche saying, but I truly live by it. And I think I've always felt this way, is your net worth is your network. And I have created a network of people, and it's shifted because when you're in a negative cyclone, like you suck in all the negative people and events, like it becomes a pattern, like one negative thing after the other. I mean, usually kind of you stub your toe in the morning, you forget your keys, you spill your coffee, and then it's just like a shit show for the rest of the day. Unless you can stop yourself and be like, all right, restart. And I think I did a restart on myself, started being more positive to myself, which in turn led to more positive people being around me. And then that just sort of grew and grew and grew. And it's all that like what you put out into the universe, which I was raised that way. But for the longest, I ran away from that because I was like, all that positive manifestation is not paying my cell phone bill or my rent. Unfortunately, I tried it. I tried to call up the landlord and be like, listen, I'm just putting shit out there, buddy. But
I just saw The Secret, and I wonder if I could hold off on that money for 3 months.
Oh my God. I mean, I kept, practicality was like, that's not going to work. So, but what does work is when you're writing things down and manifesting, it's not that the act of writing it down, it's that you're thinking about it. And if you keep thinking about it and repeating it over and over, all of a sudden something that's connected to that thought is the idea, is the phone call with the person who's like, oh my God, let me have you connect to this person. I mean, if I were to say, just from you, just from what happened, just from a few contacts, the outer rings of those 7 degrees of separation is crazy. Like the amount of people that I've met that I've kept in my life, I really value relationships with people. It's my oxygen. And so when you say like what happens when it all goes away, I panic about that. And sometimes it keeps me from trying to attain the dream of like owning a home again because I think, well, I don't have any, job security in that sense, but who does? So I do know though what I do have is an amazing group of people. And I truly feel like I've seen it happen. When we got looted, we had people delivering food to our house for over a month and to my staff here. I mean, it's crazy. My daughter got sick. People come and bring things and offer to drive and do this and that. Just reminding me that I'm always going to have the things my mom taught me to worry about. Are you safe? Are you loved? Are you housed? Are you clothed? Like those are very primal, basic things. And some people don't have those. And so I know that with my network around me, I'll never not have those things. And that's a luxury because that's my financial safety net. That allows me to be creative because I know I'll have those fundamental things. And I've lived with the bare bones basics. I mean, we had WIC checks and I had to put my kids in swim diapers when I couldn't afford diapers. And I mean, I've lived it. I've lived both of it, the highs and the lows. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to carry a $2,000 purse and live in a nice house with a waterfall in the back. And I know what it's like to have 4 kids stuffed in a bedroom, wondering when you're going to take your kid out of those swim diapers. And eating Little Caesars pizza all the time because it's $5. Yeah. Like, so to me, I'm like, I think that's the value of like the kids we work with. It's like I've been in the gym of life. I've had the heaviest weights put on there. So I've lifted in the gym. I've sprinted. I've trained. So when the race of life has started, I'm like, oh, I've trained for this. I've seen this. I've been knocked down. I know how to get back up. I know the curves on this track. So I don't feel as afraid as maybe somebody who doesn't have all that experience and has taken the elevator their whole life and always had doors open for them.
Or been given the ride, yeah.
Never had to try the different keys to get in the door or break in through the window.
Or just fucking locked out in the goddamn cold.
Or punch somebody in the face to get in.
That's fine. Cooler weather makes it easier to miss signs of dehydration like overheating or perspiration, which means it's even more important to keep your body properly hydrated. 1 stick of Liquid IV and 16 ounces of water hydrates faster and more efficiently than water alone. You know we love Liquid IV. I take that every day. Take it to the gym, throw it in my water bottle, boom, I'm hydrating. I'm taking it on my walks. We keep it here at the studio. People grabbing them in on the way out, putting them in the coffee mugs right now. Liquid IV is on a mission to change the world. The company is donating 4 million servings in response to COVID-19. Products are being donated to hospitals, first responders, food banks, veterans, and active military. Grab your favorite Liquid IV flavors nationwide at Walmart, or you can get 25% off when you go to liquidiv.com and use the code HoneyDew at checkout. That's 25% off of anything you order when you get better hydration today using the promo code HoneyDew at liquidiv.com. It's funny, there's all these gimmicks that promise a great night's sleep. And I don't care what kind of toppers there are or how heavy a blanket may be, it's lipstick on a pig. If you are sleeping on a terrible mattress, your sleep's going to be terrible. It's that simple. That's why I recommend sleeping on a Purple mattress. That's because only Purple mattresses have the Gel Flex Grid. It's a super stretchy, ultra squishy material that adapts and flexes around pressure points and doesn't retain heat. Unlike memory foam, which remembers everything, thanks to the Gel Flex Grid, Purple mattresses bounce back as you move and shift. You will never have that I'm stuck feeling people get with memory foam. officially, we all have them here. All right. Sent me a mattress. Kirsten's got a purple mattress, and he's sleeping on a purple mattress. And his exact words were, I recommend it, and so do I. They're a great mattress. If you're looking for a mattress right now, you're in the market for one, Purple Mattress is the way to go. Try your Purple Mattress risk-free with free shipping and returns, and financing is available too. Getting a great night's sleep starts with having a great mattress. Get a Purple Mattress. Go to purple.com/honeydew and use code honeydew. For a limited time, you can get 10% off any order of $200 or more. That's purple.com/honeydew, code honeydew for 10% off any order of $200 or more. Again, purple.com/honeydew, promo code honeydew, terms apply. Hey fellas, this episode of the Honeydew is brought to you by our favorite producers of ball trimmers, Manscaped. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming are leaving 2021 with new product. Clean yourself into the new year with their ultra premium body wash. Also, special offer alert, use the code honeydew for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. 4 million men already trust Manscaped. It's time to join them. 2022 is on its way, and the last thing you want is to be the guy with pubes getting in your way of making this year your best yet. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology, and it's even waterproof. So use the code honeydew for 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com. I'm all in on confidence and smelling good this year. Join me with Manscaped. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code honeydew at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com, and use code honeydew. Happy New Year to your balls. Now, let's get back to the do. As far as mentally, especially being cynical and a comedian and everything, it's easier to go the negative thought, the this is that. It is harder to go with the positive thought. So I do that 5-minute journal. I do it every day. I'm on like my 4th or 5th one, and it changed my mindset. Every day I wake up, I'm grateful for, and I always start with my health. Everyone is my health and my daughter's health. What do you have if you don't have that? Yeah. That to me is rich. I'm not in and out of a hospital right now. I was doing that in 2016, and I was in and out of hospitals for 6-7 months, all that bullshit. So I'm so glad. And I put myself on the 5-year plan. It might get to 6, but that's fine. But I've exceeded what I wanted to do in that 5 years. And I had a plan. That goes all the way up to including getting a dog and all this shit. Like I wrote it out so that I could, go for it.
And that's what I did. And I even remember about the money part, which is crazy because in the most untraditional way, I attained that money part within $1,367. It's crazy. Like how, I just started doing other things. Like I'm, curating spaces and events and booking DJs. And that once events started opening back up, that started happening. And then that led to meeting more people. So that was a source of income and something I wanted to do, coupled with like other things. So yes, the store maybe was not in a position to afford me any, because I couldn't see that. Like, well, how am I going to pay myself more if we can't afford this? But it came in other ways. And I also got opportunities to be a part of things that didn't end up costing me money to be a part of. You know what I mean? So I look at that as income. One of the biggest things that I took away with is the $1 Million Morning from Mel Robbins, which is you put your phone, and I have to tell you, I've been really bad about it lately, and I can tell the difference.
Giving you a kickback on this
motherfucker. Mel Robbins. I've DM'd you a few times and tagged you, but no, it's such a simple thing, but if you just put your phone to charge, I use my phone as my alarm. So if you can just use an alarm clock, it's better. But if you can't, you put it far away from you and then like in a bathroom or whatever, and you just use the alarm to wake up. Now, if you can't do that, which I've been really good about it, is you let it wake you up, but you do not look at Instagram, Facebook, emails, text messages, who called you, nothing. You do not look at your phone. You just shut off the alarm for at least 30 minutes. And those first 30 minutes, and for me, I try to do an hour. You wake up, I make my coffee, I'll do a 10-minute meditation. I'll use the Calm app. Like that's what I like to use, whatever. And then I'll read whatever book I'm reading at the time, and I'll do a workout if I can. And if you can only do 30 minutes, that's fine. But it's so true. Like if you're laying in bed, she's like, do you think Oprah's laying in bed looking at people's Instagrams? I mean, whether they're positive things or you opened an email, that's a great new project. You've now soaked up like the first part of your day, like already thinking about all these projects you have to do, and you don't have time to like clear your mind and be creative. She goes into this part about like while she's brushing her teeth is when she lets just all the ideas flow. That's for whether you're a creative or not. It could be whatever it is that's on your mind. I use a notes thing, and I think of poetic things and crazy funny episodes for possibly future things I want to do. And I just speak into my notes. I ended up speaking this whole thing that became a talk at my mom's spiritual center about riding the waves of life and uncertainty. But I just speak these things out now. But if I wake up and I'm on my Instagram and I'm on my Facebook and all that, next thing you know, I'm in a dark hole following people I don't know. I'm watching somebody's cat video about Skibbity Paps.
Yeah, Tiny Baker's the best.
I mean, that was a good way to go down a hole. But I start looking at things that have nothing to do with me, that's not serving me. They're pointless. And it robs you of your day, and it sets you up scientifically. Like, I just think it sets your mind up and your headspace so different. When I got to 30 minutes easily, it's a full hour now in the morning of not looking at it. And it feels great because I feel like I've accomplished, I read, I did a meditation, I worked out for 30 minutes or whatever. And now I can look at those things, and be a bit distracted, but try to time myself on it. That was a big shift for me because I was getting sucked into like, it's easy to get sucked into like, oh, look at what everybody else is doing. I haven't arrived. Or when we were coming up with all the ideas of what to do and you were like, and I'm like, oh no, someone else is already doing it like better. It's easy to be like, oh, forget it then. I'm not going to do it. But I had set my morning up with, nope, today I'm making these phone calls. I'm putting these mics in the studio to make this happen. Like, you just keep moving forward. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've spent money that I didn't think I had to make something work, like the podcast studio in Culver City. And it didn't take off right away, but we're using it. Studios.
Available for rent.
And it sat there for a couple months, but now we've got people creating content in there. Same thing with the live recording studio. Really easy to just be like, well, I don't have the money to do that, but figuring it out, taking a 0% credit card loan and making that choice to say, I could do that, or I could build it and then have a space to do the program and not have to rely on other people. So,
what surprised you the most?
That I made it to this point. Honestly, it surprised me the most that I've made these connections. Like that whole thing when everybody saw the GoFundMe and all that, we got some attention, and then you were bringing people in, and that was attention by like, celebrity people, whatever. And I just thought like, oh, that'll come and go. There was a piece of me that was like, oh, this is the 10 seconds of fame around this thing. And then a little bit of anxiety and fear, like, oh no, I need to keep this going so people know what we're doing here. But surprised me the most is that that's happened. Like, people are still saying, wow, you've been doing this for a long time. Like, we love that your store is such a community store. Mm-hmm. We didn't realize that Outreach to the Arts was serving this many kids in these different programs, because I never really had the time to go out and do all the promotion for it. And I want to just do the work.
Well, that's what the mom and pop shops that, during this virus that's still going on, they've wanted to save the Targets and the Walmarts and all that.
Right.
And they've left the mom and pop shops go to this wayside. So even before you had no support from these people, it's people like you who are out there word of mouth, like, bring your kids here, try and do this, try and do this. So to be able to have a larger platform to get the word out, I think is a really great thing too. And also to raise awareness, because like you said, people are like, I didn't know you were even doing all this. Like, the biggest surprise has actually been how many of these people who are super successful in what they do want to come out and help. I mean, like, want to fly out for a day to work with the kids, want to give their time. I mean, I have an amazing producer who's just created a whole curriculum that he wants to do on just teaching kids how to produce. You've given a full day up to teach these kids. I mean, I'm surprised. I love it.
I'm learning how to receive because I give and it feels uncomfortable to receive. And women in general, like, we say sorry all the time, like, oh, sorry, or like someone compliments you and you're like, oh wait, it was on sale, or someone will be like, oh, you look great. I'm like, I just sharp my pants.
I just sharp my.
I love your eyelashes. I have a hemorrhoid. Like, you always have to discount yourself. But I'm learning how to just be like, thank you, like, and let people participate and not feel like, oh, they're going to come and participate and I'm not this big glamorous nonprofit that's doing it this way, but we're doing the work. So they come in here and they're like, oh my God, you might not have a shiny brochure, but who needs one when you're doing this amazing work? So, I mean, we've collected so many people who have given of their time.
Well, good people do want to help,
Yeah.
They really do. And that's who you want. You want the good ones. They don't mind. Like for me, I've said before, like I wish I had a you in my life when I was those kids' age,
Yeah.
like, oh my God, someone that's showing me something and with a sense of purpose and direction and everything. I'm just aimlessly bouncing around doing what I think is best for me. And then, of course, I really believe, especially with like the death of my father at 16 and my mom not being around, I think that stunted me 10 years minimum, a decade in life. And I went and got a master's degree in the school, like you said, the school of fucking hard knocks.
Yeah.
But learning how to do anything financially or how to do this, I didn't know any fucking thing.
Yeah.
I never leased anything, didn't have a credit card, and so I'm doing laundry. Like I'm just learning everything, Once the internet came around, I was like, who the fuck needs parents? But it was rough up till 96, you know what I'm saying? Rough till 96, 97.
My God. No, but that's true. I mean, like, in some ways, our generation has become less what we think is less, not our generation, I'm sorry, the next generation, less resourceful in a way because information is so at their fingertips. But actually, I watch it as a mom of a teenager, like, it's their version of being resourceful,
Of course.
And we put that there.
We're sitting there going, in my day, well, it ain't your day anymore,
Yeah.
motherfucker.
Go get an
It's still your
encyclopedia.
day, P.S. You know what I mean? It's still your day. You're still here. Just let's go with the times. You know what I mean?
No,
An
exactly.
encyclopedia. Y'all don't know shit about the Dewey Decimal System. Talk to me like that.
Oh my God. My daughter's friend had this 13 challenges celebration, and I was like, what is that? And apparently she had their kids do certain things, and then they celebrated it. And one of the things was dropping them off in like downtown LA, and then they had to figure out how to get home. And I'm
How old are the kids?
like they were 12 or 13 when it
What?
happened. Yeah, that's great though.
I don't know about that. Not downtown
I think
LA.
it's great. I think it's a great. I mean, we were missing that, like kids.
You'll be missing those kids. You'll be missing those kids. Sorry, we're looking for these children we dropped off today. They're 12 and 13.
I mean,
Tent City? Okay, we'll check that. What's Tent City? It sounds nice.
oh, me would be in there like they're camping.
I got baked beans, Mom.
I mean, I just think that there's some things like kids wouldn't be able to figure out how to get anywhere, even myself without maps. I mean, I use maps sometimes to get home from places I already know how to get home.
But see, I use it because I want to know the fastest way to get home. I don't use it because I don't know how to fucking
Right.
get home. I want to avoid the fucking traffic
Do you know what
that
I
I
use
don't
it
have
for?
to deal with.
My kids love it on soccer tournament days. Don't be following me on the freeway. But I like to reduce the time. So I said, it says 33 minutes, 25 minutes. Who's got me on 25?
Oh, you try to get the timer
And
down.
I'm all like, my soccer mom car. And then they forget about it. But I'm like obsessed with it, like making rights
Looking
and
down
lefts.
at it. Shave two off. Shave two off.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
I say. No, I mean, they're using their own resources. But I will say that there's some things that we've lost, which is like what we're talking about, like physically setting up these cameras. Like they know how to get in front of it and create something, but the rest of it is what they don't know.
Well, also, it's interesting too because especially with the dating apps, I feel like a lot of people have lost
I don't know about those.
human interaction,
Yeah.
though, and how
I can't even
to
imagine.
approach and like imagine right now
Yeah.
if you were a single woman in this age and
I've been trying to pick up people in aisle 5. Oh,
Yeah.
look at you. You like that pasta sauce too? And then his baby's
I like rotini curls too, man. You free tonight?
Oh, God. I mean, that's how I can't even imagine. I've been with my husband 21 years, married 16. We joke around about it because he's not on social media. So he always likes to threaten, tease me, like, I don't know, I might get on there. He's like, people are going to start looking me up from high school that liked me and shit. I'm like, you're okay. Let's reel it in for a minute. But he says, I feel like I'm missing out sometimes because
You're
you're
not.
saying all these jokes. I'm like, you're not, and you'll be on it all the time, so don't bother with it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like these kids with the social media and the TikTok and the this and the that, it's like,
But it's their time. That's their time.
Yeah,
and
it's
that's
so
what it
in your
is.
face. The only thing I will say, and this is like what I was just talking about, is the bullying thing. Like people are so shitty and mean to each other, and I think there is like a vibe of, we just went to the Harry Styles concert. Like, treat people with kindness. Just be kind. I do think it's way cooler to be kind nowadays than to not be. Like, when I was younger, I felt like maybe it was cooler to be an asshole, but
ball busters.
Yeah,
it was
like
funny
you bag
though.
on people, and until you
but
hurt
you
people.
hope they go back.
Yeah, but then now I feel like it's gotten so far off the deep end, and I also feel that pendulum has swung to people being so sensitive.
Very.
Everybody is so damn.
He said I'm tall.
Oh my God, people will.
that
let me
shit.
tell you, I'm curious what they'll pick out of this interview, but people will pick stuff out, and we won't even know what it was about.
Wait, what are they talking about? Yeah,
You see the way she moved that cup?
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, that's the crazy thing. Like,
she got almond nails.
She got almond nails. Just trying to live out my teenage years. No, I mean, that's the crazy thing is like these kids are living their lives in front of the lens.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we have this different perspective where we have both of it.
Yes.
So we know what it was like before and we know what it's like now. So we can kind of make fun of it. We can kind of see it for what it is. But these kids now, this is all they know. And it scares me because my 11-year-old, you know what, by the time you get to the last kid, you're like, are they still in the room?
Yeah. Like, I got two? Shit,
I mean, there's genuinely been times where we're like, oh shit, did we pick up so-and-so? So she's getting the most of it because she's had a lot of downtime in front of an electronic, even though we don't let her have a phone yet and she's in middle school. I mean, she will have a working phone. It's like she has to use it on Wi-Fi or whatever. She has access to see all these things and what beauty is, what's important, what's not.
Well, she makes videos with Stella and stuff, and I love that
Brie
they
does,
do that.
yes.
Yeah, I love that they
That's
do
a
that.
creative movie thing. I love that.
I love that.
But Mia's over there like doing did you see the new TikTok dance, Mom? Is it just like this one? Like, it's all the same. That's all they do all day. I'm like, what is that? I tried, you know what? When I first did one, I thought that the way they look at the camera, I thought that they showed you the dance and you mimicked it as you went. So she's like, okay, let's do it. And we went in there and I'm like, how do you know what to do? She's like, oh, you have to like watch I'm like, and memorize it and So I will give them that. They're learning choreography, but I mean, some of it's just like, come on. And I don't like looking at it. I don't like looking at them getting older on the.
Yeah.
You have to keep on them. But I try to look at it like, look, they're creating content. It's as long as they have a good foundation of like what is and who you are. And like today, Mia went to school and was all worried that because she just got over COVID.
Yeah.
And she's cleared to go to school, that everybody was going to treat her like she had the plague. And it was cute because she's all, they're going to treat me like I have the plaque. And I'm like, the plaque? I said, well, I mean, we do have to go to the dentist. But no, she said the plague. And I was like, oh, how sad does that happen? She's like, yeah, so-and-so came back and nobody wanted to sit with them. And I hadn't had a cup of coffee yet. And I was weak on my advice. I was like, well, then they're assholes.
Fuck 'em. Yeah.
You'll have some alone time at lunch. I mean, hopefully she'll be cool. But yeah, kids are mean. Girls are meaner than boys for sure. But adults are mean. And then as I tell my kids, I'm like, I literally had a middle school experience once I became city council. I mean, people called me, cussed me out for votes. And I remember I told this one lady, I was like, if we were in a Target parking lot, you'd be kissing that pavement. She was like, click. And then called me back.
That's what I love about you. I remember being on the phone with you and you were at the DSW and you're like, hang on a second, Ryan. Bitch, stop. Leave me alone. I will fuck you up. See me outside. Hey, I'm just trying these heels on, Ryan. This bitch. And I am just sitting
She was
there
mad because I was
dying.
on the phone.
Yeah, on the phone. Yeah, talking to me.
I mean, this is
and
what I
said
mean.
something back through. I was fucking around. She heard it. I think. She's like, oh, he's over there saying shit.
Oh,
man.
yes. I'm bringing and sometimes I'm not proud of those moments, but I'm like, this is me. Take it or leave it. I mean.
But I think that's what we need more of, real people in these positions, not the fucking bullshit politics, not all that. Like, bring a real person in that goes, hey, if we got to do a fucking 45-minute PowerPoint presentation, could you bring it down to fucking one?
Yeah.
One display that takes you 5 minutes to fucking go over this, please. Because you'll be like, Ryan, I'm still on a 3-hour phone call. I'm like, what? And now I know you make $15,000. I'd have been like,
we go at 5 and our meetings end on average between midnight and 2 a.m.
No.
And most of it is because of discussions that have to happen in front of everybody and callers and stuff like that. But most of it is discussions that are happening on the dais there's new council members, so not everybody, this is the first time there's been this many women. There's 5 of us out of the 7 and this many newer untraditional incumbents. So it's 4 of us are really new. So nobody gives you, that's the other thing. So you get on city council and I'm like, okay, when's the training? They're like, they give you a training about like basic things. It's like sexual harassment and now you're a public figure, so you can't do this. And no more than 3 of your council members. Like we were at a restaurant the other night and there was 3 of us and one showed up and pulled up a seat and somebody has to leave.
Really?
Yeah, it's the
What's the
Brown
rule
Act
for that?
violation. It's Brown Act.
What's that?
It's you can't have more than 3 members out of the 7 together in any setting, whether it be
In case you all have to shit at the same time, the Brown Act.
because we got to talk about some shit.
Yeah.
So if we're talking about stuff, it's because all our meetings have
I
to be in
see.
public. The public
Got it.
has to see what you're discussing, so you can't all
So
gather
3
together.
people's the max for a personal
So
gathering.
when you're talking to another council member, you have to say, "Is anyone in your Brown Act?" before we discuss this agenda item. Like you can't call up and talk about all the
Okay.
items.
Right.
And if you talk to someone about the other, it's all. So that's one thing that they train you on, but they don't tell you like how to put a 13 item. Like I put one to make tattoos legal in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
They don't tell you like the process to do things. And there's a couple people up there who've been on there, and it's intimidating with the city attorney because they'll clown you on live TV. But I don't care because I got a sense of humor. So, but it can feel a little intimidating because you'll be like, "Excuse me," like it's not your time, and you need to like this is a discussion. You can't put that forward, and you're like, "Oh, okay, sorry." So you just kind of learn as you go.
Life.
Like life.
Yeah.
You just learn as you go. And that's what I want. I want everybody to see in the community. Like, I mean, I wish they paid them more. And that's why that's why in government you see this, because you have to do these of service jobs to get to that point. And if you're a working class member, unless you're of society, unless you're just crazy like me, or you're really, you have a lot of time on your hands and you can do it, like how could anyone give 30 to 40 hours a week and read 2,800 page agendas every other week? It's impossible. And meet with constituents. I got people coming in the music store, the city internet's out. I'm like, okay.
Okay.
You want a ukulele?
Right, yeah.
It's a lot, like to be expected to talk to everybody and all that kind of stuff. But I want people to see that it is doable. I mean, you can do it. There's a woman on there that has kids, works from 9 to 5, and she just says, I cannot call you back until after 5, and she checks emails and makes appointments on the weekends. And she makes it work for herself. I mean, she's busy, and me, unfortunately, I'm making time for everybody.
Well, first of all, you've done wonderful things, not only for you and your family, for the community. You really have. For me, like, I love you. You know I do. I really enjoy working here. I really enjoy volunteering with both of the classes.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I can't wait till we
and
get
I love being a part of it and watching you really make a difference in people's lives. It's awesome. And thank you for making time for me today.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I love that you'll come here and raise awareness about this shit.
I'm about to raise awareness about this IED.
There's the too much information right there.
It might be slipping out, y'all. Oh, I'm just kidding. That'll make the headlines.
That'll be our promo. One more time, please. Plug ADA, plug it all, please.
Okay. Outreach through the arts. So the acronym is ADA, OTTarts.org.
OTTA.
Well, OTT Arts, which is spelled with an
My
A.
bad. Okay.
Not farts, okay? OTTARTS.org. And then SantaMonicaMusicCenter.com will take you to our website, which shows you both Culver City and Santa Monica. I'm looking at the camera. And you can see what we're doing at both locations. We've got all the gear, so you literally could just come in, record, take your SD card home, or you can hire one of our engineers to cut it for you. So
You're doing it right. I love it.
yeah, I'm trying. You're helping me. I realized.
So listen, go ahead, sorry.
No, I realize you don't have to spend $1 million to start
don't.
one.
Look, if you're local, for real, if you're local, Southern California, LA, Culver City, whatever, hit Lana up, rent the space. If you want to do a podcast, you can rent it by the hour, you can rent it long term, whatever.
Yeah.
Come in and do whatever you want.
Or you can be in there to talk about live stream your own content. You can teach. We have teachers teaching lessons virtually on there. You can also rent practice space for musicians out there. And then of course we do lessons. We've got the DJ camps with DJ Hoppa. We've got for adults too. So we got a lot going on. We have our new ensemble that's starting. So any adults out there looking to play with other adults, we have a Sunday ensemble that's starting and our rock band.
Hell yeah.
So we're just doing it one foot in front of the other.
That's it. Every
I mean,
day.
there's only 2 people in the band, but
4 feet tall. I love you. Thank you. For real. Thank you for coming on and doing all this.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Vote for Lana.
Vote for Lana Negrete, Santa Monica City Council. As always, RyanSickler.com, Ryan Sickler on all social media. We'll talk to you all next week.